you can see how it connects both top and bottom. You're going to see how it can flow through the position. So one of my favorite ways to get started on this technique is use it as a counter. So you can use Kimura offensively, but one of the most common ways I think it's useful, even if you're a white belt, black belt, is a defensive move. When your opponent is taking a single leg, or in a standing position, or like a front turtle, we can attack the Kimura, okay? And for us right now to start, in a safer way instead of starting from standing, is the idea that Matt took a single leg and I was able to sprawl down to this position. So this is how you guys will start. So say, Matt, you guys will be kneeling in front of each other. Your partner will just kind of come down to like a turtle, like he's grabbing one of my legs, and we're already in this front headlock position. I see a lot of people make mistakes here where you might think you can get a guillotine, or you go for an attack and you try to squeeze their neck and then they go on top of you, right? And that's fine. If you know how to get guillotines or set this up, it's a useful attack. But what I want to show you guys is how to set up the Kimura from here. So what Matt will do will just be pretty simple. He just grabs onto one of my legs. And all I'm going to start doing is sprawling on top of him. This leg that he has captured is fine. This is the arm I want to attack. So you see I'm already lurching over him and I can see the arm. What you're going to do is start to weave your arm through and either grab his wrist or just have like a floating hand, whatever you can do in this moment, okay? Sometimes I can get a strong lock on the Kimura, but sometimes I'll even grab like high up on the tricep. That's fine. Okay, you're going to see what works for you. But what we need to do, in this case, because I don't have his arm trapped, I'll never roll forward. It's a big mistake if you roll forward in this moment. So instead, you're going to stomp your foot. This is going to act as like a stopper so Matt can't roll me. And I'm going to use my foot to start peeling him back, and I'm just going to lay down. And this position right here is going to be a very important one today. We can call this the T position, kind of like a capital T. And I already set up my Kimura so that if you had any other grip, I'm going to adjust to have his wrist and my wrist, okay? Notice Matt still has my leg. This is not a big problem, but in this position, you never really want your opponent's hands connected. So what you're going to do is kick your leg and pull his arm to separate. This moment is very important where when you have the Kimura, we're just going to have one rule here. His elbow and shoulder should never be able to touch the ground. So I'm using my shoulder underneath Matt's. The second rule is we're going to pinch his hand towards his ribs at all times. You never want this kind of relaxed and loose, okay? So for our first technique, we're just going to talk about the idea of Matt doing nothing. And sometimes your opponent will do that. They'll kind of pause here, they'll squeeze, tense up, and they're just being patient and seeing what I do or waiting for me to make a mistake. So what we're going to do here is a technique we call belly down. We're just going to hip escape 1, 2, until you can get your belly down to the ground. You see his shoulder's still off the ground, his elbow's still off the ground. And you can do this in 2 ways. You can run up towards him and lift, but I find I have more success because my opponent's so rigid. When you get up to 2 knees, just pull him towards you. And you can scoop them up because he's so rigid, that'll work. And now I'm giving you guys the option where we can step over the head. We're going to sort of simplify this right now, but we can separate the hand from the body and then bring the hand towards the back if you want a Kimura. But this grip is also very useful, and oftentimes I just prefer to sit to armbar, especially when your opponent is strong and they can hold their collar. And we can just start throwing our leg over and separating the hand for an armbar, okay? I think this is a great way to start because we're already on the ground and we're learning a defensive move. So if you get caught in a single leg, and for standing it'll almost be the same thing, but I just think it's a little easier to start from here. So your opponent will just take a single leg. Notice how my hip is on his shoulder, and I don't want him to take my leg off the ground. So sometimes I'll find myself like really getting my knee off the ground, but this is the arm I want. So trap it up in any way with a Kimura. Even palm to palm can work. Or if you feel like your arms are short or you can't quite get any of these locks, just go palm to palm like a gable grip. That'll help you pry his shoulder back. I don't have too much power here, and if he turns, my face is going to the ground. So what do? We stomp our foot. You're going to feel much more stable to press off the ground. You see here, I use the palm to palm, and then I can upgrade to a Kimura as soon as I flip him. We're going to kick our leg and break his grip. Sometimes you can step on your own. Like maybe if you're facing Matt here, you're going to have to spend some time. Like he can keep his hands connected, but you want to use your legs and your grip at the same time and eventually break his grip. Don't forget this, because sometimes we're thinking about the move and you're going to keep this floating. What do I need to do with his hand? Exactly, I need to press it to his ribs. So now I can hip escape, 1, 2, get to 2 knees, and ask your partner to be rigid as they would in a match. So then you'll see how easy this scoop and lift is. And then you guys can play with Kimuras or arm bars as you wish. When you arm bar, don't sit back or he falls over your knee. What you need to do before you sit is put your toes in his back and sit down. As you see, my knee will be up. You'll feel much more comfortable to start trying.